Okay, so the question I get all the time from conservatives is, Karlyn, what can we do about the left? What do you think we should do? What's the best thing we can do? And the answer I give is always the same, and it's always dissatisfying to conservatives, but I'm going to give it again. Here is what you need to do, and I'm deadly serious about this answer. You need to learn as much as you can about the left. A lot of you think you understand the left, but you don't. And quite frankly, this doesn't just apply to conservatives. This applies to a lot of people. A lot of people think that maybe because they've studied Marxist philosophy or they've watched certain podcasts, that means they understand the left. They think that because they've read books about Marxism by Mark Levin, which not a good source, or they watch Fox News or they follow libs of TikTok, they think they understand about the left. And I understand why you think that. I really do. But what you need to understand is when you get your information from those types of sources, they are trying to construct a very specific narrative for you that is oftentimes very unhinged from reality. And there is so much misinformation going around on the right in particular about the left. For example, a lot of people on the right don't even know there were massive protests today nationwide because their influencers didn't cover it. So they literally don't know that it happened. There were over 1,000 protests today, guys. There were massive protests. They took over like major cities all over the place during the middle of the week, and they did it during the middle of the week to make a specific point to show you that they could do it during the middle of the week. They're going to keep protesting, and quite frankly, in their organizing calls, they're saying this is just the beginning of the protesting. We're going to be doing this all summer. We're going to be doing this all year. We're going to be doing this perpetually. But many conservatives have no idea about this, because their influencers didn't tell them. So what's happening is you're getting very specific pieces of information that oftentimes are cut out of context with the bigger picture. And I promise you that bigger picture is much more scary than anything your influencers are telling you. It's way worse than you think it is. So in my opinion, what needs to happen is a whole lot of people need to unlearn everything they've learned from conservative influencers, and they need to start hinging back into reality. And the only way to do that is, quite frankly, to start over, which is not ideal. It's like, you want me to start over learning about this thing that I've been trying to learn about for years and years and years? Yeah, it's a valid complaint. I totally get it. And it's not my fault that you're in this position. It's the fault of your influencers who have lied to you. It's the fault of your influencers. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you really like your influencers and you feel like I'm, like kicking your favorite puppy or something when I tell you that your influencers are lying to you. But I've spent 4 years in primary sources with the left. I only watch the primary sources. I only watch their events. I only go to their trainings. I only take information directly from them. I know what the left is saying. I know what the left is doing. I know how the left is organizing. I know how the left defines all the words. And the coverage that I see on the right is fundamentally unhinged from a lot of this. That's not to say there aren't good people on the right. There are people on the right that are doing very good coverage. You look at Andy No, you look at Stu Studio, you look at Jonathan Cho. Like there are people on the right that are doing very good coverage, but unfortunately, not all of them have a giant platform, and it just really depends on who you listen to, what you understand. So you need to learn as much as you can. Education on the left is a key part of their organizing strategy. So leftists organize, and a lot of their funding comes from book sales and event sales. So what they're doing is they're writing books for other socialists. They have socialist bookstores in every major city in the country. Look up Revolutionary Bookstore or Radical Bookstore in Google. You'll find them. They'll pop right up. Those are socialist bookstores. They bring socialist activists to those bookstores to talk about different socialist ideas and to sell their books, which makes money for everyone. But then it also provides an educational opportunity for the community. A lot of what major socialist groups do is they have classes, they have meetings, and it's all about learning history. It's about learning organizing strategy. You look at something like Crime Think. Crime Think is the publishing arm of Antifa. They're putting out educational materials literally all the time. They get distributed for free at all these events all over the country. So I'm not actually asking conservatives to do something that the left is not doing. Instead, what I'm saying is the left is doing this highly effective thing, and the right is not doing that thing. And the left is building community around that thing. They're building protest groups around that thing. They're building organizations around that thing. They're making a lot of money around that thing. They're creating a sustainable environment where they can literally be professional activists. If you want to know why there are people who are paid to organize and be activists, it's because they literally build organizations where they make money teaching other people socialist things in order to do that. We can do that on our side, guys. I'm trying to do that on our side. But in order for us to have any shot, we need to build an educational arm that is teaching people information that's hinged into reality about the left. Because here's the thing too. If you don't understand your enemy, you can never defeat them. What happens a lot of times with the right is they think the target's up here because their influencers have told them one thing. They think the target is up here. They think their enemy is up here. In fact, their enemy's down over here. But they start shooting all their arrows over here and they think that this is their enemy because their influencers are telling them this, but it's not. Their enemy's over here. Their enemy's doing a completely different thing that they don't even know about. And so if you're fighting the enemy that you think is over here, but they're not actually over here, they're really over here, you are going to lose every single time. When I say you need to learn as much about the left as possible, what I'm asking you to do is look at the situation right in front of you, look at the materials available, and understand that your enemy's over here. This is where you need to fire. And so if you are constantly directing tactics in the wrong place, you're never going to actually do any harm to your enemy because you're not even firing at them. That's why we need to learn as much as possible. This is why I can't give you tactics. I wrote a whole book about tactics in 2021. It's called Actively Unwoke, The Ultimate Guide for Fighting Back Against the Woke Insanity in Your Life. It came out in 2022. I wrote it in 2021. That's relevant because things changed between 2021 and 2022. But I literally wrote a whole book about tactics. And after I did that, I realized the tactics don't work because people are not hinged into reality with where those tactics need to be directed to and what is the most effective way to do it. So I'm not trying to be mean to you conservatives when I say you need to learn, you need to sit your ass down and learn. And by the way, there's no shortcut to that. And I'm trying to make it easier. I really am. I'm trying to make it easier. I'm trying to make resources available. I'm trying to make classes available that makes it much easier to kind of start to learn this information. Everything I do is based on primary source videos. So I'm showing you directly what the socialists are saying themselves. You never have to trust me. I'm trying to build a lot of things around this type of thing because I think that education is so important. But if you want to do something, if you want to be effective, you need to become fluent in the language of socialist. You need to educate yourselves. You need to do exactly what the left does. You need to learn as much as you can. And I'll tell you, there is no shortage of the amount that you can learn. I have literally been doing deep dives into the left for over 4 years now. I've learned a ton. I would say there are very few people in the world who know more than me. And there's still things that I learn every single day. Every single day. So if I can learn new things every single day, and I literally study the left 6 days a week, live on the internet, you can come and join me on my streams on YouTube and Rumble. If I can still learn things, then all of you can still learn things. And so we need to go back to square one. It is not a satisfying answer. I understand that it is not a satisfying answer, but it is the correct answer. And I promise you, once you get into the content and you start seeing it, you're going to understand. I have people who come and find my channel all the time, who they watch content with me for like a week or two, and they actually get really pissed off at conservatives because they see it directly. They see the left directly. They don't need this filter mechanism that goes through their influencers. And then they go, holy shit, there's so much going on that my influencers didn't tell me. There's so many things that they just never told me. And they get really pissed off at them. This is why people are confused. People think I have some sort of cult. And the reason that I have such a dedicated community, honestly, is so many people have found my content and have gotten really pissed off at all the people they listened to before because they thought they understood the left. It wasn't their fault that they were lied to. It was the fault of their influencers. They thought they understood. They saw the new content. They let it process in their brain because it does take a while. It takes a minute to get over that cognitive dissonance. Listen, I left the Democratic Party after being a Democrat for 20 years. I had to get over some cognitive dissonance to realize that there were just things that I did not know. And if I can do it, you can do it. But I'm also acknowledging that getting over that cognitive dissonance of thinking you understand something and then being confronted with the fact that you don't, it's not fun. But you can get over it. And you will get over it once you see the primary source content. So I'm providing as many free resources as I can to help you guys learn as much as possible. Show up to the streams. Use the content on the Substack. Do my How to Speak Socialist course. If you need any links to anything, let me know. DM me on Twitter. Ask for information. I'm more than happy to provide it. But you got to start learning. You got to sit down and do the work. The left does the work. And that's why they win.